Hello guys, my name is Amit Sani and I welcome you in this daily UPSC MCQ series. This is 7th of June's lesson. This is the backlog that I am uploading now, and we are taking important current affair based issues here, and I want your feedback that how you people are getting these lessons. And I know lesson is having a less number of questions, but my focus is more on the understanding issue. So if understanding is good, then maybe you will know less information, but that information would be very much solid. So that is why in this half an hour I am taking less number of questions, and the more focus is on the understanding part. So that is the case. So let's start the lesson, and the PDF you will get on the Facebook group of mine, and the pen drive courses which are here, and 60% off is also going on, and you will have them calling on these numbers. This is the Facebook's group where I upload these PDF, and the Telegram's link is also given here. Okay. Now the question is regarding IPSA. Recently the news came in the Hindu that IPSA needs to be revived. It's a very important representative body for actual developing countries, and you see China is way advanced today. So you cannot call it totally a developing nation. So India, Brazil, South Africa, they are representing a particular group of nations which is actually going through these transitional and developing phases. So it was established to promote not North-South, it is actually South-South cooperation. So this is wrong. South-South cooperation means the group which was also called as Global South. These countries which are there south to these continents, like Brazil in South America, South Africa in Africa, India in Asia. So these are located on the south mainly. Indonesia, it is also there, mainly located south to the equator. So these countries, they are south to these developed countries of Europe and Americas. So that is why they call them South-South cooperation. And in 1955 the Bandung conference happened, and there they started this important issue. It's not actually an official group, but they normally name it as a South-South cooperation, where the knowledge sharing and the experience sharing and whatever issues are there between these developing countries. So it was established to promote the South-South cooperation, not the North-South cooperation. So first is wrong here. IPSAMAR, for sure, it's a series of naval exercises between navies of India, Brazil and South Africa, and it was started by the IPSA declaration. That is perfectly correct. Next, one of the main goal is to move UN Security Council reforms. This is again correct, because whatever they felt after they became decolonized, and in a 55 conference they declared this issue that we are now a free country and we can decide about our things. But the present UN Security Council, that does not represent the actual condition of the world today, because these developing nations, they are finding it very difficult to have some representation, and these powerful countries, P5 countries, they are deciding about the main issues of the world, and they have their veto powers and all, and they do not want any other country to come on board there. And that is why India is still not there, and China is there because it has enormous power, but they have used that power also. So the main goal, one of the main goal, is to move UN Security Council reforms. So 3 is correct, and 2 and 3. Actually this is 2 and 3, and I actually changed in this particular slide. So C is correct option here. 2 and 3 are correct options. Last year Sushma Swaraj also called for development South-South cooperation at IPSA summit that happened in October 18. So India, Brazil, South Africa, IBSA, international cooperation among these countries, and galvanizing South-South cooperation. That is the case. You see the map. These are the developed countries groups. So Russia, you can also take there. So that is why they call them South-South cooperation. Means Brazil, South Africa, America, India, Indonesia. These are South countries. And in 55 Bandung conference, where Sukarno, the president of Indonesia, he called for all these important declarations and all, and they started this important issue. So that is the case. 6 June 2003, Brazil declaration happened, and they decided for the reforms in the Security Council. Okay, and they also extended this issue to international terrorism also, transnational crime also, and some other issues which we can take here. Poverty alleviation, social development, these are important themes here. So UPSC may ask you that where the IPSA dialogue forum aims. So it to promote South-South cooperation, but these additional issues are also very much important, and climate change also is the topic. these days, these years means UPSC is asking about the latest additions. So climate change, terrorism issue, global warming, these are the latest additions here. And these are mainly general issues of the developing nations. So these all are included here. IBSA MAR, because MAR means the maritime is added here. So IBSA and the maritime, these are the naval exercises and abbreviation of India, Brazil, South Africa, maritime. Bandung Conference, as I told you, 1955 was the year when this happened. And you see, IBSA was also supported by UNCTAD, the important body, G77 group, and the BAPA plus 20 declaration that happened actually in 2019 March, where this Buenos Aires city was there in Argentina, the capital city. There this South-South Cooperation Summit happened. So that was the important one. Next, about the South-South Cooperation. As I told you, it was the Asian African Conference, famously called as Bandung Conference because it happened in Bandung, Indonesia in 1955. India had played a key role in its start, so that is again correct. New Development Bank. You see, it was passed as a resolution by the BRICS countries, and they started with the BRICS Bank named as New Development Bank, which is based in China, in Shanghai, and AIIB, which was proposed 2 years later in 16 year, and that was the total Chinese proposal, and it was countering the Western dominance in the financial and the world economic sector. So AIIB, Asian Infrastructure and Investment Bank. So this was the Chinese proposal, again a important Asian country, and these countries mainly which are the members, India is also a founding member here. So these are mainly the developing nations, not the developed nations. So these are normally called as a bank which are related with the South-South Cooperation. So all 1, 2, 3 are correct options. D is the right answer here. South-South Cooperation. General term often used to describe the exchange of resources, technology, knowledge between developing countries, and who are sometimes referred to as the Global South. So we call them Global South also. Actually, this term is actually a Western term, and they called in such a way as they call Middle East. Actually, it is not a Middle East, it is actually a Western Asian region, but they call it Middle East according to their own terminology. So these are famous terminologies, and historically used by policymakers and academics for the developing countries. So that is important thing, and I am repeating it again and again because it is so important in the international relations issue. Certainly there would be a question in the mains this year. Okay, and these are 29 independent countries which attended this Bandung Conference, and it provided the first major instance of the post-colonial countries which called for collective resistance to the Western dominance here. Okay, Sukarno was a very instrumental person in this conference, who was the head of Indonesia at that time. And New Development Bank, which is called BRICS Bank, based in Shanghai, AIIB based in Beijing. So both cities are there in China. Next question from polity. Article 14 and 19. You see, part 3 is the fundamental rights issue in Constitution. Part 4 is the DPSP. Okay, this is enforceable, this is not enforceable. This is mainly suggestions for the welfare state, and these are important rights for citizens. So 14 and 19 both are coming under the part 3 because articles 12 to 35 they are counting for fundamental rights, and DPSPs are going for 36 to 51. So 14 and 19 both are fundamental rights. Now this question asks that which are these things which cannot be held as a violative of the fundamental rights. You see, specific provisions are given regarding all these three, like concentration of wealth. In Article 39 we see that concentration of wealth should not be there. This is an important suggestion by the Constitution for the welfare state, that the concentration should not happen, but today's condition is totally against that because perfect level of inequality is there in India. So this becomes relevant. So prevention of concentration of wealth, if state is about to prevent the concentration of wealth, then it will not be violative of the Article 14 and 19. And next, taking over the management of the properties by the state. That thing was done after the independence, where many estates and all they were there, many important corporations were there, but they were taken under the government's authority, and that was not violative of the fundamental right. It was upheld in Article 30 1. Okay, so 31 is the most important and crucial article of the constitution, and that dealt with all these cases like Keshanand Bharti case and all, and the basic feature issue was also discussed in relation to the article 31, and same goes with the amalgamation of the corporation. So for all these three provisions are given, and they all cannot be held as violative of the fundamental rights issue. Okay, so 1, 2 and 3 would be the answer here, because it is asking for the cannot be held. Okay, you can see here article 39 B and C cannot be held as violative of the fundamental rights under article 14 and 19. 39B says distribution of ownership and control of the material resources of the community as best to subserve the common good. 39C says prevention of the concentration of wealth. So both things are similar in a way, but very specific ones, because in polity questions are going for the philosophy of the constitutional provisions and philosophy of the constitution. So these things, these interpretations, they become much more important. You may be getting bored reading about these issues, but they are very specific in their meaning, and this particular difference is checked in the UPSC optional questions these years. For the last 3 years we have been looking these kind of questions here. Statement 2 and 3 are also correct. Article 31A provide protection for 5 categories of law from article 14, means you cannot call them violative of the article 14. Acquisition of estates, taking over the management of the properties, amalgamation of corporation, these things were done after the independence. Like land acquisition was done, schedule 9 was created so that there would be no judicial review, and these things would not be violative of the fundamental rights. So these are mentioned in the articles. Next, preamble of the constitution, as it was upheld that it's a integral part of the constitution, and it is telling about all these things, like it is telling about the source of the authority, because it says that we the people of India, and in the end we say that we are giving it ourselves, this constitution, so it is the source of the authority. Next, nature of the Indian state. It is telling about the sovereign socialist democratic republic, so it's the nature of the Indian state. Objectives, the fraternity, justice and equal opportunity, it is talking about that. These are the important objectives of the constitution. So in the light of preamble, we need to understand the constitution. So it is talking about the important objectives and the philosophy of it. So 1, 2, 3 all are correct options here. D is the answer, and you can see here in the polity chapters of the Lakshmikant, this is perfectly given, and it reveals 4 ingredients or the components: source of the authority, nature of the Indian state, objective of the Indian constitution, and date of adoption of the Indian constitution. These things are perfectly clear with the text of the preamble. Like it's 26 November 1949 is the date of adoption, and it perfectly says that constitution derives its authority from the people of India. It starts as we the people of India. Next, foreign tribunals, a very important specific question. Foreign tribunals are present in every state of the country. This is not correct. Today we got important information in the Hindu newspaper that MHA now authorizes district magistrates in all the states that they can establish foreign tribunals. These are actually quasi-judicial bodies. So this is correct, this is wrong, because right now there are no foreign tribunals in all the states. This is a unique feature of Assam state, where these foreign tribunals are working, and in other states different provisions are there, like under the Passport Act, Foreigners Act, people are booked which are suspicious as the illegal migrants. So that is the case. So first is wrong, second is correct, third is again not correct. Why? Because when a person is declared illegal stay, means the person is called is upheld as illegal, and he is a illegal migrant, so the tribunal will not instantly deport till the time the country of that person's origin, that country does not accept that person, till the time that person would be there in the detention camps, and he may have to serve some term in the jail also. So that is the case. So punishment is also given here. So 3 is also wrong, second is correct, first is wrong, only 2 is the correct option here. We can see here this news appeared in the Hindu that all states, union territories can now set up foreign tribunals. You see, new Home Minister of our country, Amit Shah ji, he announced this issue before the elections, that NRC exercise that would be executed in whole country, but problems remain there, as the article came in the editorial section today, and it revealed a lot of things, because the Sananulah's case that is raising many questions there, that this exercise has many flaws, and if it is executed in the same manner in all the country, that it may create a havoc in this nation. So that is the problem, but it's a start of the same process. And now ministry amends the order of 1964, the Foreigners Tribunals Order 1964, and it says that DMs would be authorized to set up these foreign tribunals in all the states as they are there in Assam. So they will be recognizing illegal migrants all over the country. Okay, so that is the case because they can be present there in all the states. Right now, for other states apart from Assam, what are the provisions? These people are booked and they are taken to local courts according to Passport Act of 1920 and Foreigners Act of 1946. So they are produced before a local court there according to these provisions. Okay, so right now there are no foreign tribunals, and these are the acts working in other states. So that is the case, and we will meet again tomorrow. And I hope you must have understood all these things. These are very conceptual things and related to the current affair issues. So thanks a lot. Keep watching to the Amit Sunny. Give me your feedback also.